Maybe because the mute button was on. Is that the reason? Maybe that's the culprit. Well, happy hump day, everybody. I hope you're all having a great Wednesday. Good morning. We'll try it again. Coming to you 136 consecutive weeks in a row at 7 a.m. on this wonderful Wednesday. Hoping you're all counting your blessings. All right, guys. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's that moment. What are we talking about today? Integrity. I wanted to talk a little bit about integrity. It seems as if there's been a serious absence of integrity. But before we jump into that, let's have a little bit of integrity and recognize and shout out our morning misfits. And the first to tune in and join us today is Stan, the man from Sea of Serpents Morphs. Good morning, Stan. Got Gerald up in here from Forward Motion Reptiles, Gerald the Time Traveler. And of course, the lovely Holly, not Heidi, from Texoma Exotics. Good morning, darling Holly. How are you today? Large Marge Morse is in the house, trying to get some coffee in before he goes into the zoo. My man, hashtag Hugh, what is going on? Morning misfit extraordinaire. That's my guy, hashtag Hugh. And he's talking to Paul about just trading in one zoo for another as he heads into work. We're going to jump over the border and say what's up to Pete's Snakes, showing us some love from Nova Scotia. But while we're up north, how are you doing, Crystal Crabtree? And still hope you are celebrating your birthday. Make it a birthday week, and if you can, stretch it out to a birthday month. Who else is up in here? Benevolent Reptiles. I have some Australians that love when I say benevolent reptiles, and as a matter of fact, I am wearing Lizard Morphs attire today. Got this all the way from Australia, and I think it fits nice and lovely. It looks like he has a DNA test here. I don't know if it says you are the father or not. I'm feeling a little bit like a NASCAR race car today. I got the Lizard Morphs t-shirt on. I'm lighting up the hothead candles. I like this. I like this a lot. The hothead candles, was it sweet coffee? Sweet coffee scented aroma over here. Lit it up with my Balls for Life New Jersey lighter as I'm drinking out of my Soul's Balls Yeti tumbler over here. While I'm trying out Cold-Blooded Caffeine's Sumatran today. Still trying to decide which flavor I like the best. Balls and Strikes is talking about silence, and coming from you, I thought you would appreciate that, to tell you the truth. Charlie is in the building, guys. Go check out Grey Rider Reptiles. Again, he is doing amazing things with the genetic testing. And I just see that he's growing and growing and growing. I just hope, Charlie, you don't forget about the little people. You don't forget about the little people as you keep grinding and rising to the top. Good morning, Mr. Snyder. How are you today? Kara Shea. We got love from Florida. Eric's Morphs Factory up in here. All right, guys. Cold-Blooded Caffeine. Look at that. Speaking about the guys. There they go. Go check them out, guys. We had a great episode, and I always say it. You know, we talk about integrity. We're talking about integrity today. But, you know, there are some good ones. We do have some good ones. Go check out the good ones. Go support the good ones, Come on, we had a great episode here. Week 123, episode 123 with cold-blooded caffeine. Go look at what they're doing. They're doing great things and giving us great coffee. What more could you ask for? Nothing, but you will ask for more because you always want more, 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 more. Let's see, time for some Dunkin'. Okay, I'm not mad. But Dunkin', I primarily only do iced coffee. I do a medium iced coffee black with 4 pumps of caramel swirl and 3 pumps of coconut flavor. Just in case, you guys ever want to get me a cup of Dunkin', that's the route we'll go. All right? All righty. So let's see. It's been an interesting week. I'm just settling back in from traveling. Travel was hell. I went to Florida. As many of you know, I turned 50 years old over the weekend. I hit the big 5-0. I am a half a century old. And all I wanted to do was spend it with my mommy. Okay. And I was blessed to spend that special day with con mi madre bella, with my beautiful mother. And I never imagined it was going to happen. But my daughter flew in to surprise me with my grandchildren. So it was just awesome. I actually had my entire family unit there. As many of you know, I have a grown daughter with 2 boys, my 2 grandsons. I call them Café con Leche. That is Adrian and Josiah, aka Jojo. Café con Leche. If you see a photo of them, you'll understand why. But I never thought it was going to happen. She has her own career. She has her own family. She lives in another state. So it was a huge blessing to have my entire family unit there while I got to spend it with my mom. And then other relatives stopped by. My wife surprised me with lunch with a very special person to me, Al Cover, how they coordinated it with everything that he has going on is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, it was amazing, guys. So thank you all for that. This week, like I mentioned, we will be talking about, unfortunately, we will be talking about the lack or the absence of integrity. Okay. Just take a look at this. I'm interested in knowing how many of you had the opportunity to see reptile royalty. I'm sorry, but benevolent reptile says you assume that I know what cancho de leche. It's okay. I said café con leche, right? Café meaning coffee, con meaning with, leche meaning milk. Café con leche, okay? Not cancho de leche, but thanks. All right. So I was wondering how many of you got a chance to check out the episode. Or actually, I had horrible travel arrangements. They were horrible. Um, I was stuck in airports. Seems as if this airline, nothing is going right for them. Numerous issues, delays, etc. But how many of you got a chance to check out the Reptile Royalty reality show on the Roku channel? It's actually free. I mean, you got to watch some commercials, which I haven't watched those in a while, but I got to see what all the buzz is about. and it really wasn't that it wasn't that bad, but it really wasn't that good. Okay. Obviously looking for sensationalism. Um, I mean, great point. Cold blooded caffeine says I tried to watch it or watch 10 minutes of the first episode and turned it off. Super cringy. I mean, there were really weird decisions there. I mean, one of the things they did was have some real bootleg wrestling outfit there. And when I say bootleg, I mean like low level. I think they rented out the Ukrainian Community Center or something like that to host it. Um, as far as education, there wasn't any education there. Uh, there was it was boring. I mean that's another thing with the social media presence that Jay Brewer has for prehistoric pets and all of the clickbait and all of the fishing for views and likes and subscribers. You would have thought it would have had a little bit more of that. It really didn't. It was pretty boring. Um, there was definitely misrepresentations of animals, like they would mention the word python and then follow up and show you a boa constrictor. They would say reptiles or refer to reptiles, and then you see an amphibian. um yeah, so definitely misrepresentations there, and of course the very common uh display of solitary animals being bunched in with others. So it wasn't it really what wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be worse. Um, but yeah, it was just flat. It was just flat. And we talked about this a little bit last night on Bronx Down Under. If you guys did not get a chance to go check out Bronx Down Under, don't forget every Tuesday night, Bronx Down Under, 8 p.m. We have our own channel. Go subscribe to that channel. It's on all the major podcast platforms. We did touch up on this because last night's theme, even though the show's about nothing, was about reality TV. So we did touch up on the topic a little bit. And last night was Lizard Morph's night. He was in charge of the topic. But definitely less than stellar. I want to say a less than stellar show. Not much royalty to reptile royalty. Last night, Chris compared it to Brian Barczyk videos, and I'm sure if you had seen it, you would watch and you would see that there's some truth to that. H&M Exotic says he quit watching his YouTube when it got about 3 videos in 2019. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about integrity, right? Um, where do we hold, or when do we hold people accountable? And a lot of these people are the powers that be, right? Because we live in this social media world where the amount of followers you have, the amount of subscribers you have, although can be and are quite often fraudulent because they're bought, um, dictates where you fall on the totem pole. Okay, and I've talked about this topic many times. I don't care how many uh, subscribers you have. You can be putting out false information. Your shows can be trash. Your content can be trash. And it just seems that that's more and more of a reality these days. Okay. Catching up, for Pete Snake says, catching up on BDU and watching you live is becoming my Wednesday routine. Nice. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So when do we start holding these people accountable? I've been talking about this for quite some time. And when I post things, right, I'm the bad guy. This was going to be the thumbnail. I posted this on my Instagram. This was about podcasters flip-flopping. You know, one day they're best of friends, the next day they hate each other. One day they have one stance on a position, the next day they have another stance on the same position. Matter of fact, sometimes it's not even the next day. Sometimes it's within the same show. Okay, it just seems that we get more and more and more lies, more fakes, frauds, and phonies than ever. So, for those of you that don't know, and I won't take it for granted that you do, those are chancletas. In Spanish, we call them chancletas. A chancleta is a flip flop. And it just seems like more and more of the people that are supposed to be representing, that are supposed to be educating, that are supposed to be growing this community do more harm than good because there is no integrity. Now, a lot of these people have little to no experience in the reptile world or breeding reptiles or keeping reptiles. Yet, because of social media, there's this facade that they are authorities. Yet, quite often, they are showing you improper ways to do things, doing things improperly themselves, which result in death, right? Because these are living creatures that we're dealing with, and often result in death. So when do we start, guys? Last week's topic was on a sexual harassment case, allegations and charges brought towards one of the largest reptile live shipping company CEOs. There was an event last week. He was at the event like there's nothing going on. And yes, innocent till proven guilty. I get it. I'm with it. I believe in it. But would you invite someone that was going through something like that? Or is now a time to maybe be low key? Does inviting someone like that to an event, having them at an event that you're hosting, does that promote this behavior? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I don't know. Last week we talked about the scam in Georgia at a reptile show. Well, will you attend that reptile show? Will you vend at that show in the future? There's just been so many instances, guys. We can just go down this list of all the shows that I have done in the last 136 weeks where I bring you the good, the bad, the ugly, and I am quite often criticized for it. I do this in hopes of spreading awareness. I do this in hopes of educating people, helping people, highlighting. We have heroes. I like to highlight the heroes in the reptile community. Okay. But unfortunately, everyone's not a hero. We also have a lot of zeros. And if people aren't aware, they can become or fall victim to these people. But how many times do we discuss the same people doing the same things and there's no accountability? The memory, the when something is discussed, it seems as if it just falls down the cracks within a week or two. It'll blow over. Don't worry about it. Why are you still talking about this? Why are you still talking about that? it'll just blow over. Guys, when do we start holding people accountable? These are the people that influence the growth of our reptile community. We talk about wanting to grow the community. We talk about the need to grow the community, yet we continue to allow influencers do a bad job of influencing the newer people that are coming into the community. Many of you don't support, don't watch, but because they have these platforms, they continue to bamboozle the newer members of the reptile community. At what point do we hold people accountable? How do we hold people accountable? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. A couple of interesting things happened this week. But before we get into that, I want to share a little story. Okay. Before we get into that, I want to show a little story. This was on my Facebook feed, and it's been going around for a while now, right? Look at how interesting that is. What do you see going on here? Look at that. Two beautiful creatures being brought to their demise. It's going viral, and there's a story behind it. The python suffocated the king cobra while the king cobra bit it. Both snakes died. This is how people destroy each other. Friendships end, relationships end, and families end up decimating themselves because one always wants to be better than the other. Some smothering people with their ego of superiority, others end up poisoning themselves with gossip, envy, and deceit until they destroy each other. Choose love, compassion, loyalty, and honesty. Are you the king cobra? Are you the python? Where do you fall in that? I'm interested in knowing. This week, it was a nerd accusation. And again, guys, these things are accusations, they're allegations. Until there's proof provided, that's where we have to take it as. Arizona Reptile Connection, John Marshall, posted, "Buyer beware, New England Reptile strikes again. They sell 6 snakes. I took a big chance and hope my collection doesn't get affected. They are being moved to a quarantine room, and my house is being fogged and treated for crypto. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. It's a very long story. PM me if you want to know more. Use caution." Well, Donnie, who has become the voice of nerd, right? Because again, the power of social media. He is their social media guru. This caricature right here with the cartoon voice has become the face of nerd. A company that has been a staple of the reptile community for decades. Founded by Kevin McGurley, who has decades and decades of knowledge and experience, is now second, at least it's perceived as second, to a caricature with a cartoon voice that has become the face of nerd on social media. And here, this caricature that we're looking at says they will no longer allow accusations like this to be made. Borderline threatens this person. That is the problem we have with social media. When you have a company, when you have a platform that has the ability to harm the little guy fears that retribution, fears the retaliation, and doesn't speak up. In this, after this accusation, Donnie goes on to say he'll be attacking or revisiting his beef with Derek's Reptiles. You can go and look at the episode I had Derek on when he spoke up against that situation going way back. He received death threats because he had live feed videos on his channel. He responded recently explaining his journey to where he is now. Derek actually went back and some will think it was a good move. Some will disagree. Okay? But he went back and deleted all of his live feeding videos that were under scrutiny. Now, me, I'm more of if you're going to do it, put some thought into it before you do it. Stand your ground, whether people agree with you or not. He chose what many would see as a high road to handling the situation. Now, my video with Derek about this situation was over a year ago. And yet, Donnie and Nerd, or Donnie representing Nerd, is still attacking Derek. What more do you want from someone? They admitted they could have done things differently. They apologized. They removed the content with the intention and the goal of being a better representation for the reptile community. And yet, a year later, you still want to attack that man who appears to have integrity and want to do better based on your definition of better. Because we can debate the live feeding. We can debate it all day. But based on your definition of what he did wrong and how he was being a bad representation, a year later is still under attack. For Pete Snake says, I agree that there's bad actors, especially in the YouTube sphere. But what actions are you calling for exactly? I'm asking you what actions, because many of the people that know that there are issues still watch the videos of the people that create these issues. Many of those people. And why do we watch? Because it's hard to avoid stopping to see a train wreck. It's hard to avoid it. But that takes discipline. That takes integrity, because those views trip the algorithms. For good, bad, and different, they trip the algorithms because you're viewing it. Even though you're viewing it for maybe different reasons. Maybe you're looking for that person's demise. Maybe you're looking to see what is this person going to do this week. But by clicking on it, I do get videos DM to me, clips, etc. But I won't click. I won't click on these people that are doing this because you give them the views. There was this comment. Oh, no, that's not it. Hold on. Let's see here. This comment right here from Morph Matrix I found interesting. And this was in response to Donnie's post. And you will see, if you go through the YouTube videos and the Instagram post, you will see so many people leaving comments that are saddened by the current state of affairs and what's being put out by this content creator, the new image of nerd. This is not the kind of content an ambassador of the hobby and community should be associated with. It's frankly appalling that you think it's appropriate to make this kind of content purely fishing for views and spreading negativity. Surely a content creator like yourselves with an arsenal of animals and experience can find something interesting and positive to put out. Whilst I accept that the views this individual has shared might not be aligned with your interpretation of what happened as a commercial entity, you can't call out everyone who doesn't like you or like their experience with you. Imagine Ford taking to social media for every negative customer review. I agree. I definitely agree. It's not what we want to see. When I respond, right? So I posted the old thumbnails on my Instagram, and then I posted the picture of the flip-flops, right? The flip-flopping podcasters. And I received hate, right? Because you're not always going to get love and attention, okay? I received hate. This person used to follow me, Buckingham Blue Rattery, and they were upset, and they went back and forth. They went back and forth on my page. Seems like these videos are part of the problem, if you ask me. And my response was, well, I didn't ask you. And again, we went back and forth. My question is, when you go and take the time and energy to leave a comment like that on someone's post that is sharing this information, do you take that same time and energy and go to the culprits of the information that is being shared? That's my question. I definitely like to hear your thoughts about that. Am I stretching it? Am I? Donnie sucks. He cares about views, not animals. His only job is views, which he mentioned it, right? Hashtag Hugh says Donnie is rehashing the things that got them the most views. You can see people do that all the time. This is a world of likes and no respect for others. That dude was being a dick, plain and simple. Tell me how you really feel. But that is what I'm talking about. How do we get past this, guys? How do we get to a point where we're holding people accountable? One of the ways is always the pocketbook, right? Another situation that happened this week. Speaking of Derek and Donnie, right? Someone sent me this. Damn, that MJ now trashing Donnie. Weren't they podcast buddies, podcasters flipping so often, impossible to keep track of who's with who. Now he's hating on Donnie and Nerd and hooking up with Derek, a guy he trashed before. 100% true. And this made me laugh because I had seen this picture with my co-host, Mr. Snakes and the Fat Man himself. And please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's going through some stuff. We talked about it yesterday. But in this photo, you see two more people that had very short stints co-hosting shows with MJ. Very short stints. You had Nobody Safe. I think that lasted 2 episodes, maybe 3. And then you had Fat Tuesdays, which lasted 2 episodes, maybe 3. And then you had Donnie, which lasted 1 episode, maybe? I'm not sure. And now this person is doing shows with someone he had Derek on recently. He literally had a whole rant about Derek, attacked Derek, called Derek autistic as an insult, okay, which definitely got many people pissed off. I'm hoping, and I haven't spoken to Derek. Derek did reach out to me while I was on vacation. I really didn't want to deal with any of it, and I will call him this week. I'm hoping that when Derek went on the show of a man that attacked him and referred to him as someone with autism as an insult, as an attempt to be comical, I'm hoping that he discuss that man to man. I'm hoping, and I'm sure some of you have seen it, I'm really hoping that he got a public apology the same way he was attacked and bashed. I'm hoping he got a public apology. Phil Snyder, chancletas, flex, giving out chancletas first thing in the morning. And I see my man grow some balls, pineapple. We need that safe word, okay? For Pete Snake says, you definitely shouldn't give oxygen to people you don't support. I enjoy the info you cover, but I sometimes wonder if talking about them helps or hurts. So do I. So do I. Now, I know your country is as much of a shit show as my country is right now. And the reason why is because so many people have remained silent to those making noise. And those making noise are spreading in a negative way like a virus. So it's almost a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. But staying silent's not working. Having people know that they're not the only one that feel the way they feel brings us together. Lets these people know you're unacceptable. Your behavior, rather. Your behavior is unacceptable. What you're doing and its effect is unacceptable. There's power in numbers. And you can't, I don't like bullies. I go for the underdog. But if you think you can just ignore a bully and they walk away, they don't. You have to confront them. and let them know that you're willing to get your ass kicked, but you're not willing to get bullied. Then they stop. And I think that's the unfortunate situation that we're in right now. Anyone that uses autism as a diss needs some shock therapy. Definitely agree with that. Okay. And I've said it, I've been saying this for decades. Silence is acceptance, and I can't accept it. What you do with the information I share in an attempt to have something positive come from it. Unfortunately, there has to be a storm sometimes for us to appreciate the sunshine. Okay. Unfortunately, some people have to be willing to confront these issues. Some people have to be willing to be the ones that get attacked. I get attacked. I do get attacked. But I could look at myself in the mirror and say my intent was to do good, and I had to face and confront the bad to get good. It's unfortunate, but it is the truth. Okay, it is the truth. Sometimes you gotta smack them in the mouth. Bullies are bitches. Fuck them. No, I get it. Now I'm not a promoter of violence, but I get it. So, staying in line with our weekly theme, I do want to quickly touch up on our graveyard, our Sticker Breeder graveyard, and our Milk Carton Chronicles. This week in the Sticker Breeder graveyard is Iron Ball Pythons, a good one, a good guy. Okay, a good guy, obviously out of Texas. Gone. I don't share these to blast people. I share these so people can understand that it's difficult doing this for a long term. It's difficult. I do this so people can pull in the reins, okay, and look at what they're doing and try to be more intentional on keeping collections that are manageable, because it is very easy. The constriction addiction is real. It is very easy to get into an overwhelming situation too quickly. Okay. Did Will get out of the doghouse yet? No, he did not. He's still on that milk carton. Have you seen the show yet? That's right, Will's hella heat. I'm still waiting. You keep telling me it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Let's get it going. And on the Milk Carton Chronicles, or for the Milk Carton Chronicles on the Milk Carton this week, is integrity. It's missing, guys. It's missing. Integrity, morals, principles, honesty, accountability, rectitude, value, ethics, uprightness, wisdom, truthfulness, ideology, strength, ideals. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Just keep that in mind. You're either part of the solution or part of the problem. And I get it. We all have different personalities. Some of us are introverted, some of us are extroverted, some of us are boisterous, some of us are quiet, but there's always a way for you to contribute. Find that way, okay? Find that way to contribute, even if that means not clicking on the train wreck and not supporting and making people think that that is support. Brian is definitely part of the problem. Reagan Renee, Brian, you put integrity on the milk carton. Wow. Well, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. How many people will go on podcasts just because that podcast has exposure, even though that host, that podcaster's a piece of shit? I've had conversations with people, bashing the podcaster in private, and then going on their show, and I don't stay quiet. I will reach out to them. I will say, hey, you said this, and now you're doing this. You said he's a piece of shit, and now you're going on his show. Why? Because of views. Because they have a platform that gets views, and they want that exposure, because that exposure leads to sales, right? So if you're doing this as a business, you want sales, and you'll take whatever exposure you can get. Think about that. Integrity out the window, because views and exposure are more important. I'm not shocked anymore. I'm not shocked at all. Okay? See, a serpent says, Will is slower than me on the podcast. Yep, he sure is. He sure is. And this is 100% correct, Charlie. People with integrity all around the industry, man. It just doesn't get the same attention because doing the right thing is the expectation. But there's an issue when those people that we consider to have integrity fall into the trap. That's an issue. Okay? That is the problem. The problem is when more people are watching a show because of the negative content that it brings you, that you want to be a part of that show. Look at how many people, look how many co-hosts have flew the coop in a matter of weeks, 2 weeks, 2 episodes, 3 episodes gone. Why did they even go on those shows? What were they thinking? Views. Okay, views. Integrity doesn't equal views. That's the problem. And Phil, you are 100% correct. But that's what we have to revisit and evaluate. Okay? We have to revisit and evaluate exactly that. Your views, none of these people are getting millions of views. I just want to put this out there. Okay? I just want you to understand how this works. In order to make about $1,800, okay, you need 1 million ad views, not a million views. You need 1 million ad views, that the person actually watched the ad that popped up on YouTube. That's where the money's at. Okay. So how much are these people selling their integrity for? I would love to know, how much is your integrity worth? Because I promise you this, there's no one in the reptile world that, minus the big dogs, right, that get the 3 million views a video, etc., right? They've sold their integrity for 6 figures. There's no one else doing it besides those guys that are getting 2-3 million views a video. No one else. No one else is doing it. Okay. It's sad. Flex says it's sad when people get out the hobby, but expect many more who got into the hobby during the pandemic. Well, it definitely is. Okay. I have over 3,000 followers in IG and only get about 200 views. It is what it is. And IG is a whole different beast. But guys, think about it. Think about it. We have people that bash US Ark, right? We have people that bash US Ark when they're one of the few entities, US Ark and US Ark Florida, that are actually out there fighting for our rights. But instead of supporting, spreading awareness, sharing their efforts, getting other people to join the fight so we can stop having all of these laws imposed on us, they bash US Ark. Well, kudos. There's a link in the video description regarding some new activity and some positive stuff that US Ark makes happen, okay, because they continue to fight for us. All right, integrity, guys. Where is the integrity? Huh? People bashing USARK. Yeah, you'll see videos out there and posts and Facebook threads about people bashing USARK, questioning what they do with the money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it just makes you wonder where people's heads are. We have stuff like this going on that make our hobby and industry that much difficult when you're finding invasive species in areas they don't belong. This is the 19-foot Burmese python that was captured in Naples, Florida last week. It's the record-breaking Burmese python. If you see the video, these people were so excited to catch it and kill it. Okay, because that's what we put out there, guys. Because we're not responsible. We don't do what we're supposed to do. I mean, look, not only do we have the issue with the Burmese python, now the Everglades is having issues with anacondas. The invasive green anacondas pose threat to Florida Everglades ecosystem. Florida's Everglades have been home to various invasive species over the years, but a new concern is rising with the increasing sightings of green anacondas in the region since 2000. We got to do better, guys. We got to do better. And it's not just on the buying side, it is also on the selling side. You have to do better. I know when you get into this, you want to move your products. I get it. I get it. But you have to do better with the people you are selling to. Okay? You have to be better. You have to get better. They killed the whitelist. Yes, they did. That's nuts. Don't believe that bullshit. Well, if they're showing you the animals, it's hard to not believe it. Okay, it's really hard to not believe it. Everything is not conspiracy theory. They have sightings, they have trackings, they're pulling in the animals. So it's really not that hard to believe it, to not believe it rather. Okay. For those of you that are on Mean Market, be careful. We had these posts. JSA Reptiles, we got hacked again on Morph Market. Do not send money. Please spread the word. They had people reaching out. So they wanted to make sure everybody was clear. Their Morph Market store is temporarily closed, but they're not closing. They're not selling their animals at 50% off. They're definitely not selling animals they've already sold. This is not their phone number. If you get any text messages or communications from that number, don't send any money to anyone that is acting like they are them. Okay? Now, it would be nice for there to be better security measures because we discussed this a while back on this, that something has to be done so the hacking stops. Okay? But you do have other options, right? We have Reptipost, guys. Herb Social. Find Your Reptile. And coming soon, Marketplace from the Show Me Reptiles people. All right, you do have options. I have I think six. I have six snakes coming in. Probably talk about them sometime over the next few weeks, maybe after they're done with quarantine. I do have six snakes coming in. I am trying to downsize. I know. Got to find this balance. I'm trying to downsize. It's just this was a little difficult, but I have them coming in again on Redline shipping. Okay, this is the second time that we've used Redline shipping, and the first went nice and smoothly, and I'm hoping that this one goes just as well. So, but yeah, guys, integrity. Are you, just ask yourself that today? I don't care if you're an aggressive person. I don't care, if you're a passive person. Just ask yourself today, are you part of the solution or are you part of the problem? Okay? Ask yourself that. Hope you guys have a marvelous week. I want to thank you all again for tuning in to What's in Your Cup. And again, it's power in numbers, guys. All right? Power in numbers. You guys have yourselves an amazing rest of your week. If you're behind your goals, today's a great day to kick yourself in the ass and start catching up. If you're ahead of your goals, do not slow down. Do not get comfortable. Okay? Comfort is a success killer. Do not get comfortable. Have a blessed day, everybody. Like Stan said, and I hope to see you guys again next week. Take care, guys.